No, we are not. This is not a full-time job yet.
Oh, the Hangout is on air live, it says. Okay. So, everybody, welcome. Obviously, you guys know me, Sean, Hang with Sean channel. It's me. And I'm here with ThatDudeBeef 310 on Twitter.
That's right. That's right. And one day on YouTube, if I ever get my own URL.
He's working on it, and hopefully that'll come around soon. And so today we are here to discuss the NFL games for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And of
That's
course,
right.
the conference championship games, and we've got two games in store this weekend. We've got the Denver Broncos, who are currently +3 against the New England Patriots. So we got the Broncos +3 against New England Patriots, and we've got the Carolina Panthers, who are -3 against the Arizona Cardinals. So let's get into the games and see what ThatDudeBeef310 on Twitter likes in this weekend's game. Who do you like in the Broncos-Patriots game? So the Broncos here are the home team, it looks like, right? They're the home team.
Yep. They're home, and they're still underdogs. That's amazing. How do you have Peyton Manning as the quarterback? Incredible defense, but you're an underdog at home. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And both teams, of course, are 13-4 on the year. Denver is 8-8-1 against the spread, while New England is 8-7-2 against the spread.
Pretty evenly matched.
Yeah. Now Denver's 7-2 at home, while New England is 5-3 away.
Wow. I got to be honest. I really want to see the Broncos win, and I hope they do. But there's so much. Everybody loves Tom Brady. I love Tom Brady. I used to hate the guy. I love him now. You can't bet against him in a big spot. This is obviously the biggest spot. Brady Manning 17, possibly Peyton Manning's last game if he loses. I don't know. I want the Broncos win so bad, but if I did bet, I would have to go Brady, the Patriots, Belichick, the evil dynasty, and all that. You know, it hurts me. You know, it hurts my heart to say it, but I see the Patriots winning.
And, that might be, some people might say, a good thing if that happens. And I'll tell you why. I heard this theory the other day that a lot of people were afraid for Peyton. I mean, they've seen the way Peyton's looked. And really, Peyton didn't look that bad last week. It was more his receivers dropping the balls. I mean, it was like, 6 drops last week or something, or 5?
Yeah, it was pretty terrible.
So it wasn't necessarily Peyton last week that was the problem. But a lot of people are worried that if he even gets by New England, if the Broncos defense kind of wills them to a victory here and Peyton wills them to a victory, he's going to be facing either the Cardinals or the Panthers. A lot of people are worried that it would be sort of a repeat of what happened against Seattle. And, he just was embarrassed in the Super Bowl then. And what a way to go out for him if he makes it to the Super Bowl and gets embarrassed again by a defense. I mean, that would be a horrible way to go out.
It is true, but at least it would make one more Super Bowl.
This is true. I mean, you could look at it either way, right? You could say, like, hey, on one end, he made it to a Super Bowl. Great. But then, on another end, it's like, well, to get blown out in a Super Bowl and look really bad as his final game, you don't really want that, do you?
No. But, I mean, for Peyton's legacy, how bad would it be if he lost his very last game and it was a home game? He's always known to not play up to par in the playoffs. He's, what is he, 11-5? Or I'm sorry, he's 5-11 against Brady and the Patriots. I think he's got to step up. He's got to win this game. Regardless of whether he could win or lose the Super Bowl, you have to win at home against, I mean, this is like the Ninja Turtles versus Shredder. This is like God versus Satan, and this is like the ultimate showdown. You know what I mean? I feel like Peyton has to pull this one out. He has to. But again, I did pick the Patriots. I'm all over the place.
I mean, we're going to need an official prediction before this goes off. Now, let's take a look a little bit further here. Recent meetings, we have Denver covered the last one, +2.5. New England covered prior to that, +3. Before that, we got Denver -5, New England -1, New England -5.5, New England -14, New England -7. So the trends you see here are the last two the underdog covered, and prior to that, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row where the favor covered. So, and a little bit deeper than that too, we have New England covering against the spread in 5 of the last 7. So,
wow. And there's also another stat. I'm actually surprised you didn't mention it. The home team has won every single matchup in the playoffs.
Oh, wow. And how far is that dating back to?
Since the Braiding Manning era. I think it was the last. What was it? The last 5 or 6 matchups in the playoffs. If they played each other that many times.
I have the last 10 matchups here. So we've got the last time home team won, Denver. Home team New England won. Home team again. Home team again. Home team again. Home team again. Looks like the last time a road team won was when New England won 41-23 against Denver on December 18th, 2011.
See, that was before Peyton's time.
Yeah, before his time in Denver, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? That was when Tim Tebow was in the game, if I remember correctly.
See, good old Tebow, just letting everybody down.
Wasn't it? Wasn't that the year or no?
Yeah, because that's when they beat the Steelers. Remember, there was an overtime. Tebow had that one pass in overtime.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Won it. Then they what did they do? They went to New England. Oh no, New England came to Denver.
Yeah. So what happened was that was 1-14-2012. New England won 45-10. So that same season, a month before, New England won 41-23.
Oh wow.
So they beat them twice pretty much within a month and just kind of walloped them.
Right.
So looking at that, I mean, you can kind of go two ways, right? New England's covered 5 of 7 against the spread, but Denver, on the other hand, has the home team thing going for them where, the last, 6 games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The last 6 games, the home team has won.
And they have Peyton Manning, and that the mile-high crowd, and the air is so thin. I'm going to take the Broncos +3. I think the Patriots are going to win. Let's take the Broncos +3.
Oh, man, you can't make up your mind.
Final offer, final answer, all of it.
So final answer against the spread is the Denver Broncos +3.
Yes.
Okay. And, let's take a look here, too, at the last couple of games. So, of course, New England's last game was against Kansas City when they won 27-20, covered -6, while the Broncos pulled out a victory against the Steelers 23-16. However, the Steelers were missing quite a few key pieces in that game, and Big Ben was banged up playing in it. So definitely you would say that the New England game was a little more impressive, especially since the Chiefs had been on like a 12-game win streak or so, I think it was. Or
no, only 11. Nothing that great.
Yeah, 11.
It's just a
little more impressive. So New England's got that going for them. So that's another thing in New England's favor. In terms of last opponent played anyways and all that. Let's see. It looks like the matchup edge goes to New England. They've got the points per game. They've got the yards gained. They've got red zone kicking and penalties all in their favor, while the Broncos only have the yards allowed and time of possession going in their favor. And let's take a look at the offense and defensive stats here. So New England is averaging 84 yards on the ground. Denver's defense is allowing 83. Pretty evenly matched, pretty low numbers there. Looks like the New England offense is averaging 287 yards through the air, while the Broncos defense is giving up 206 yards through the air. Wow. So New England throws a lot, but the Broncos aren't giving up a lot. Let's switch sides and go to the Denver offense, which is actually averaging 107 yards on the ground, whereas New England's defense is giving up 100. And the Denver Broncos are throwing for 246 through the air, while the Patriots defense is giving up 240 yards through the air. So pretty evenly matched, except for the one that's pretty skewed is the New England offense throwing 287 yards versus only 206 that the Broncos are giving up. So that's
going to be a great game. That's all I know.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. I think it's going to be a great game. And let's take a look at the quarterback numbers. I do like to see the quarterback numbers as well. I'm sure both will be. Well, actually, Peyton's been pretty bad this year. I was going to say both should be pretty good, but Peyton's been pretty awful this year.
Yeah, Peyton's been hurt. He got, Father Time and the injuries and that offensive line. I don't know. You could have Joe Montana in his prime. With that offensive line, anybody's going to struggle, Even if it would make Joe Montana have maybe not as bad numbers as Manning, but I don't know. That offensive line is garbage. They're terrible. I think they should sign me. If anybody in the Denver area is watching this, sign me. ThatDudeBeef. Look me up. I'm from the Philadelphia area. I'll do it all, baby. I'll protect anybody. Osweiler, Manning, so whoever you draft next year, go for it. Put me in. We'll do great things.
This man lifts cars. All they got to do is look up Winter Wreckage, right? Winter Wreckage on YouTube.
Winter Wreckage, man. Appreciate the plug. That was great.
No problem. Winter Wreckage is what, 2015? Is that how they find it?
I don't remember. Winter Wreckage, 12/12/15. That was the date. First strongman competition ever. Didn't do as great, but I did lift the car a bunch of times. So there's that.
So there you go. If you're watching, check it out. And if anybody from the Denver area sees this in time and they can get you out there tomorrow, despite the snowstorm going on in Philadelphia at the moment, then maybe you'll be playing offensive line for the Broncos tomorrow.
I would love it. If that happened, I would throw you a ticket in a heartbeat. First row or club box, whatever you want.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Absolutely.
Now, before we move on to the next game, last thing we're going to look at quarterback numbers. So I was on Peyton Manning, 2,249 yards through the air, 59.8% completion percentage, 9 TDs, and 17 interceptions. That sounds more like Eli Manning than Peyton Manning.
Eli Manning's rookie year, really. Golly.
Yeah, well, Eli's had a couple years where he's thrown a lot of interceptions, more than his touchdown ratio, I believe.
Really?
I believe he has. I can double check that. I'll pull it up. But
I know last year he was terrible. I think he led the league in interceptions. Eli.
Let's see. I'll pull it up. Eli Manning stats. Yeah, let's see. It's a beautiful thing about computers. We can just pull them right up.
That's it. Especially if you're tech savvy like you.
So let's see how many years he's had. Okay, 2013, he threw 18 TDs and 27 interceptions. So that was the 1 year he's had more interceptions than TDs. And his rookie year, he threw 6 TDs, 9 interceptions. So he's only actually done it twice in his life where he's thrown more interceptions than TDs. But, I mean, he's had years like 2007 where he threw 23 TDs and 20 interceptions. I mean, that's not a very good ratio either.
Yeah, those 1-to-1 ratios are no good.
Yeah, so. But anyways, that's Peyton stats. Now, let's look at Tom Terrific here. 4,770 yards through the air, 64% completion percentage, 36 TDs, and 7 interceptions. So a lot better there.
Tom Terrific, man. He earned his name.
Yeah, so you know what? I thought the Broncos were going to be covering this game +3. That's my initial feeling. That was my gut feeling. Now I'm going to have to change it after all the evidence I've seen here because everything stats-wise really supports the Patriots. So I got to go Pats -3 is my official pick, even though I was feeling the Broncos +3 originally.
Right, that's what we were talking about, your gut feeling.
Yeah, and my gut feeling has been awful all year. So
wow.
Let's go with New England -3, and you're going with the Broncos +3. Is that right?
We both flipped our initial pick before we started this. That's pretty cool.
Yep. When we were having a little pre-discussion, yeah, we both
wow.
flip-flop. So you like Denver +3, and I like New England -3.
There you go.
Let's see what happens. Little fun fact for everybody watching. That Dude Beef was on the channel one time before when I was on Team Take 'Em back with Billy B and Jason P was on for some time.
Yeah, you should put the link up there in the top corner or something so people can see that catastrophe.
You know, I'm actually wrong. It wasn't Team Take 'Em. You came on I Live to Win, the original channel.
Wow. Talk about a relic.
Yes, so it was the first year I was doing these picks. It was just me and Billy B at the time, and you jumped in the end of one video, and I asked you to be on it. And you were drinking.
I was coaxed into jumping into a video after a couple libations, we'll call it.
And that Dude Beef over there is a Cowboys fan, and I'm an Eagles fan. I got the hoodie on.
Yep.
And the Eagles were playing the Cowboys, and that first year, I had predicted the Cowboys and Eagles insanely good. And so I took the Eagles to beat the Cowboys. And he got on at the end and said, nope, you're wrong. The Cowboys are going to wreck them. Long story short, the Eagles won. He was 0-1 in his picking career, but now he is back to make amends years later.
I have to avenge that loss and get in the win column overall.
Yes, and both win. If you win both, you will certainly get there. And the way my picks have been going this year, going against me is a smart move.
I could be 1-0. I feel good about tomorrow right now.
All right, so let's check out game number 2. So we have Arizona, who is traveling to Carolina to take on the Panthers. The Panthers are 16-1 on the year, and the Cardinals are 14-3. We've got Carolina 12-5 against the spread. Pretty incredible numbers.
Wow.
So they're doing really well, covering what they're supposed to. Arizona 9-8 against the spread, winning record. Carolina undefeated at home, 9-0. Wow. Arizona 7-1 away. Pretty impressive. Another thing to look out for, the over is trending here because we've got the Panthers are 11-5-1 for over-unders. So they've had 11 overs, 5 unders, and one push for the, just push for the points. And the Cardinals are 9-8, 9 overs and 8 unders. So you may want to take a look at the over there if you are looking into this game. Something to consider. Let's move it on down here and take a look. So, of course, the Panthers are favored in this game as -3 favorites here. And let's take a look at the last couple games. We've got Carolina -5.5 covering, Arizona +3 before that, Arizona -6.5 before that, Carolina -2.5 before that. Kind of split everywhere here. If we had to look at a trend, it would be that the underdog has covered in 5 of the last 8. The underdog has covered.
Wow.
So that's something that you could look out for. The Cardinals have covered 2 of the last 3 they've covered. So it's kind of split. I wouldn't say anything there really sticks out to me as a big trend based on just that. We have last games played. Arizona, of course, beat Green Bay, which was an incredible game.
Man, that was the most entertaining football game I've ever seen in my life. The last 2 minutes and then overtime. How about the coin flip? Aaron Rodgers knew if it doesn't flip in the air, if it just stays stagnant and just stays flat and hits the ground, it doesn't count. It's not official. That was just one of 20 things that could have went. I don't know. Everything happened in that game. It was great. It was the best game I've ever watched.
I got to agree with that. It was pretty incredible. I mean, how about, you look back at the 4th and 20 something. What was it, 4th and 22?
Yeah, they were on the 2-yard line or 1-yard line.
Yeah, and right before that, they had a play where Rodgers threw the ball, and I forget the receiver's name, Jurasek or something. I forget.
Yes, the new guy.
Yeah.
Randall Cobb's replacement after he went out.
Yeah, he got basically the guy just completely twisted him, and they didn't call pass interference, and that was interesting that they didn't. I really felt like they should have. And it really looked like the game would be over, right? They're like, all right, 4th and 20 something from like the 3-yard line.
And they went to him again.
Yeah. And amazingly, he gets it and gets a huge gain. And, then they end up getting the Hail Mary at the end of the game, which is incredible in and of itself that he was able
to. And who caught that?
Wasn't it Jurasek too, right?
It was him again.
Guy's amazing,
He's like the Tim Tebow of receivers. You just have to have faith in the guy.
Yeah. I mean, it was incredible. And, then for them to lose the game on the way the coin toss happened, I mean, wow. And Larry Fitzgerald, oh my God, what a play in overtime!
He is a stud. I don't care where you put him. Last week he was a wide out. He was in the slot. He was in the backfield. The final play of the game.
Mm-hmm.
No matter where you put him, he's a weapon. At his age, he's still killing it. It's incredible.
It was pretty unbelievable that he actually went in and that they actually called a run play for him to get in the end zone. I had picked him in one of my DraftKings polls that I did. So when he was beasting it, I'm like, oh, man, this is awesome, because I didn't have a rooting interest either way.
Sure.
And so he's beasting it, and I'm like, wow, this is incredible. I mean, it literally looked like he just was bullshitting around the whole game, and it was like, oh, now I feel like playing. And so then when they called that little flip to him to get him in, I'm like, man, thank God, because I picked him in DraftKings, and I really felt like he was going to have a big game.
Oh, he did, didn't he? Go ahead, 80
yards. No, he did. Oh, yeah, he had a huge game.
Right.
But that touchdown helps, of course, because the touchdown's a lot of points. So.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, anyways, obviously the last game, as I just mentioned, with the Cardinals was a 26-20 win over Green Bay. And Carolina's last game was a 31-24 win over Seattle. But not all sunshine there for the Carolina Panthers, because they really did struggle the second half. I don't think they scored. Wasn't it like they didn't score an offensive point the second half? Weren't they winning like 31-0 at halftime?
Yeah. It was what was the final? 31-24?
31-24, yeah.
Yeah.
So they struggled in the second half. I don't know if they scored a point or if they didn't.
The thing with the second half of football, it's all coaching. And when it comes down to coaching, I'll take Pete Carroll over Ron Rivera any day of the week.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, the experience. Pete Carroll he knows his team a lot better. He's been around. I don't know if he's been around longer, but he's been to 2 Super Bowls already. He won one of them. Should have won 2 if he didn't make, oh, God, what a play call that was. let's just, with the game on the line at the 1 yard line in the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots, let's throw the ball. Let's give beast mode a break, even though it's the final play of the season. Let's just not use them at all. So other than that blunder of a call, I would take Pete Carroll all day long.
Well, I don't think enough people give enough credit to the guy, and I forget his name now, but the guy who made the interception for the Patriots. He made a really good play. Malcolm Butler, yeah. And also, I don't think enough people really give enough blame to Russell Wilson. I mean, he didn't have to make that throw. I mean, it was a great play by Malcolm Butler. So, I mean, it is a little tough to just say it was a terrible throw. It wasn't a terrible throw. I mean, as an Eagles fan, I've seen Sam Bradford literally throw to the other team right into their numbers in the red zone this year.
In the red zone, that's right.
Yeah, so, I can't say it was the worst throw in the world. But, I mean, you've got to be smarter and not make that throw. You've got to be smarter and say, like, okay, it's not wide open. I can run with it or throw it out of the end zone and live to see another day, because it wasn't fourth down, if I remember correctly. Wasn't it like first or second down?
I think it was second down.
Yeah, because if it's fourth down, okay, you can make that throw. But second or anything else, you're on the goal line. Just throw it away.
That's the thing. I think that spot was – I think that was too big for Russell Wilson. The Super Bowl was on the line. I think he made up his mind before – as soon as the play call came out, he made up his mind. He was throwing that ball no matter what.
Yes, I'm probably right.
As they say, that was that, The rest is history.
All right, and now we look at the matchup edge here, and we've got Arizona with a slight edge, taking it 4-3. They've got yards gained, yards allowed, kicking, and penalties in their favor, while Carolina's got points per game, time of possession, and red zone in their favor. So the edge slightly goes to Arizona there. And again, the edge goes to Arizona, in my opinion, in the last game played. And now let's look at the numbers here. We've got Arizona's offense averaging 115 yards on the ground with Green Bay. Wow. With Carolina's, I'm going back to last week. With Carolina's, I bet I could predict that game with 100% accuracy.
Yeah, I don't know if I could this year.
Yeah, the way it's going this year, probably not. And we've got Arizona's offense versus Carolina's defense. So it's 115 yards per game on the ground for Arizona, 87 yards allowed by Carolina's defense. We've got Arizona's offense averaging 290 through the air, whereas Carolina's defense is giving up 239.
They're giving up 239 yards in the air?
Yep.
Wow. Yep. I wouldn't guess that at all.
Me neither. And now Carolina is making all of their damage through the ground because they're averaging 142 yards per game on the ground, probably because of Cam running the ball.
Newton.
And Arizona's giving up 93.8 yards on the ground, which isn't bad. And we've got Carolina's offense going for 220 through the air, with Arizona's defense giving up 231 through the air. Yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily say that skews towards anybody's favor. Maybe that Arizona offense throwing for 290 versus the 239 the Carolina's defense is allowing.
Right.
That could be the deciding factor. So that's something I would say is slightly in Arizona's favor. And last thing I look at here, there's a close-up view of that dude beef.
Yeah, my face is a little red. I don't know why. A little warm.
We've got Cam Newton, 3,837 yards through the air, 59% completion percentage, 35 TDs,
59%, that's all?
Yeah, 59.
And people are calling him MVP? Oh, my God.
Well, he's thrown 35 TDs and only 10 picks, and he's ran a bunch in, I'm sure. I don't have the running numbers on here. And then Carson Palmer is 4,671 yards, almost hit 5,000. 63% completion percentage, 35 TDs through the air, 11 interceptions, and 104 ratings. So he's actually got the slight edge, but it's not by much if you compare. And if you add in Cam's rushing numbers, you might even argue that Cam has the edge.
Yeah, it's not really fair.
So after looking at this, I'm going to stick with my original pick, and I think the Cardinals are going to win this game. I think that's you don't like that?
No, I thought I had a chance to go 2-0. I thought you were going to flip flop again and go with Carolina.
You're gonna flip flop?
No. I thought you were gonna.
Yeah. No, I gotta stick it with the Cardinals. I almost said the Panthers.
You almost flipped.
I almost did flip. I'm gonna stick with the Cardinals here. I like the Cardinals to win. I think they're gonna have a big day through the air. I think Fitzgerald will show up big time again. And this is actually the first time I believe, or one of the first times in recent times. It was something I heard a stat on this. First time in recent memory or times. I don't know what the stat was, but it was two Heisman winning quarterbacks facing off in the conference championship.
Sure.
And 2 number 1 overall picks as well.
Wow.
So I think that was one of the first times.
I hate to say it, but I have to agree with you. I think Arizona +3 is definitely the pick. They have so much talent on offense. Carson Palmer, he wants to win this bad. I think he's out of the 4 quarterbacks remaining, he wants it the most. He really does. He had a great career in Cincinnati, great numbers anyway. Now that I bring that up, did you notice he always has great receivers to throw to? Always.
That's true. Yeah, no, you're 100% right.
Carolina, I was impressed with them, with what they did throughout the season, especially against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. But after watching them struggle the whole second half, at home after having a week off against the Seahawks, I feel like, I thought my phone was in the picture, sorry. I feel like Arizona's a much better team than Seattle, and I think they're just going to be too much for Carolina after Carolina had a tough game. What else? I don't believe Carolina gives up that many yards in the air. That is unbelievable because I know they're great at pressuring the quarterback. Everybody on that defense is known for they can cover, whether it's a linebacker, a safety. I mean, they're great at zone, especially when they do zone blitzes and all. So that just boggles my mind. But now that I know that, I really feel confident in Arizona winning this one and hopefully going to the Super Bowl. So let's go with Arizona +3. I almost said the catchphrase. I almost said it.
Oh, you almost said take them. I like Arizona as well, of course. I think they pull this out. And let's not forget that Arizona has a really strong defense themselves, and Carolina's receivers are not the best. It's surprising what Cam Newton has done with very little. I mean, Tom Brady's done a lot with very little, too, this year. When you look at what he did with some injuries he's had. I mean, Edelman being out for some time, Gronk being out for some time. I mean, it's almost the same thing if you look at Cam. I mean, Cam hasn't had much to work with this whole season, so I think that their receivers are really going to get shut down by this tough Arizona defense. And I think Arizona actually probably wins this one somewhat convincingly. I think that they might win this one by 10 or more.
Oh, wow. Can we bet that? Can we do like a little side bet there? I would gladly take – oh, wait, did you say Carolina's going to – I think you slipped.
Did I slip and say Carolina?
I think you slipped and said Carolina's going to win by 10 or more.
I'm trying to throw you off for our bet purposes. Of course, I would mean the Cardinals, not Carolina. I've been slipping up on this game all.
We're going to make all kind of bets on technicalities. This is great.
Yeah, right. Then I'll be able to pull it out. I'll be like, no, you knew what I meant.
Right.
All right, so that's the 2 games that are going on this week. So we split on the first game with me taking the New England Patriots -3 and you taking the Denver Broncos +3, and we both agree the Cardinals will win +3 against the Panthers. So what about over-unders? What do you think of that? We got 44.5, 44.5 for the New England and the Denver game. What do you like in that game? Over or under?
See, I can see it going both ways. I think if Denver really has a shot at winning this, it's going to have to be a low-scoring game. So if Denver actually pulls it out, I would say it might be an ugly game, like 17-13. But if they have to do a shootout, like I said, this is Manning's last hurrah, man. Can't hold anything back. And Tom Terrific, he's going to want to put up all them points. Gronk's going to be ready to go. So I could see Brady to Gronk 2 or 3 times in the end zone, just because you can't stop them. I don't care who you are, you can't. So if that's the case, then it would have to be like a 37-35 type of game, something like that. I'll go under because, like I said, I want the Broncos to win. I picked the Broncos. I'm just hoping against hope here. That's all I'm doing.
So you've got the under.
Under 44.5.
I'm going to go with the over 44.5 for several reasons. Number one, it's a huge game. Manning versus Brady, one of the last times ever, in all likelihood, the last time ever. Mm-hmm. So all the players are going to be fired up because they know there's going to be tons of people watching this game, first off. Number two, Brady and Manning themselves are going to be super pumped up because they've got this huge rivalry that has been going on for years. So they're going to be pumped up. Then you've got the whole factor with Gronk, when they went low on him earlier in the season and the Denver Broncos took him out of the game.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So I like the over here. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. I think these guys are going to be super fired up, especially on the offensive side. Plus, the Denver Broncos are going to be super fired up because their receiver stunk last week on national TV and had all those drop passes. And so they're going to be fired up, and they're going to want to get it done for Peyton as well. So I like this game to be a shootout. So I like over 44.5 in that game.
In other words, take the under. If you've been following this guy all year, take the under. It's the safe play.
So we split on that. So I like the over, you like the under. And on that game, I like the Patriots -3, you like the Broncos +3. So we actually completely split on that game. How about over under 47, which is actually a lot higher than the other game? 47 for the Cardinals and the Panthers. What do you think?
Way too much. Way too much. Arizona won't have a problem scoring. I feel like Carolina they'll be all right in the first half because Ron Rivera, is that his name, Ron Rivera? I feel like it's not his first name.
I believe it is. I
It's
believe
first
you're
name.
correct,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. Let's show some confidence here in Mums. Carolina might put up 14 or 17 in the first half, but then they're going to get shut down again. Bruce Arians, he'll never take his foot off the pedal. I don't care if it's the fourth quarter. I'm definitely going to go over in this game. I'm going to go over. It's going to be, 38-28 Cardinals, 38-31 Cardinals, something like that. Cardinals are going to go off. And Carolina, they just don't have it, man. Cam's going to run out of gas, too. You're not going to see a rushing touchdown from him. You're not. You're not going to see a pass from Cam Newton over 30. His longest completion in the game will be like 28 yards, 29 yards, something like that. It'll be under 30.
Oh.
Yeah.
Especially with the big plays have been hitting the Ted Ginn. You think that does not happen in this game. Is that correct?
No. Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not. Cardinals secondary is too good. They're going to pressure Cam Newton. They're going to make him uncomfortable early and often. And he's going to be running for his life. He's not going to be running, for yards. He's not going to have any swag. There ain't going to be any none of that on the field. None of this. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it a little bit. I just had an itchy chest. It's not going to happen. He's going to be very uncomfortable. He's going to struggle for a little bit. I'm going to go over. Arizona's going to win big.
All right, so you're kind of saying what I said earlier with Arizona winning big, but yet you wanted to bet me that they wouldn't. You're just all over the place.
No, because you said Carolina by 10. I really think you said Carolina by 10.
Yeah, but you know what I meant because I had predicted the Cardinals. So if I did slip and say it when I followed it up. But anyways, I like the under in this game. So we're splitting here again.
Yeah.
I like the under. I think see, I keep saying Carolina, but I mean Arizona.
We have to bet on this.
Arizona, I think, will have a big game offensively. I think they'll do pretty well. And they might score somewhere in the vicinity of 24 to 31 points, with maybe 24 to 27 being the likelihood of it. But I think Carolina gets shut down here by this Arizona defense. And I think Carolina only puts up between maybe 10 and 17, somewhere in that range. So that's what?
For the whole game.
For the whole game, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's why I like the under, because I feel like Carolina will put up enough points to make it happen. And I feel like the Cardinals are going to put up like that many. Like I don't see them putting up 30 or 40 or anything, but I see them putting up, like I said, within that vicinity that I gave you. So under. I like the under.
Wow. You're saying Cam Newton, all likelihood, the league MVP is going to put up 10 to 17 points in the biggest game of his career.
That's correct.
Wow. Okay. That's a bold prediction.
Thank you. I like to make bold predictions.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah.
And I like what you did, by the way. I'm just thinking about it. I like what you did with your prediction on the over-under for the Broncos game, because you literally came out and said, well, I feel like it's going to be a shootout, 38-35, somewhere there. I'm going under. Because this way, when it goes under, you say, see, I told you.
Right.
Or when it's a shootout, you go, see, 38-35, what'd I tell you?
Because now there's always a way where I'm going to be right. Somehow, some way, I'm going to be right. So you have to cover all bases,
You certainly did cover all bases. I will give you that.
Thank you.
All right, so that's going to do it for this week's picks. Anything you want to say to the viewers before we sign off here?
I know Sean had a lot of partners in the past between Billy B and Jason P and Jeff Mysterio. I don't know what that was. Good Lord. Boy, oh boy. But I don't know, man. I don't know. You've had a lot of partners. Something's going on there. Something's up. I don't know what it is.
You mean, right? Because I keep having to find new ones.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's like Batman always stuck with Robin. You know what I mean? No matter how bad Robin was in his awful costume with all the fucking rainbow colors. Oh, didn't mean to curse. Sorry, sorry.
That's all right. We're all
Yeah,
adults here,
right. Well, some of
except for the two viewers. I don't know how old they are.
us. We have two viewers right now?
Yes,
Wow, big time, big time.
yes.
What was I saying? So anyway, Batman always stuck with his Robin.
Thank
Always.
you for comparing me to Batman, by the way. I appreciate that.
I have to because you're the only constant element of your channel. So, just like all the Batman movies, he's the only one that's constant. So I feel like I don't know. I don't know if you get rid of them or they get rid of you, but I'm glad to be a part of this. This was fun. I hope to be 2-0, technically 4-0 if the over-unders come out, and let's just hope for a good day of football, man. That's all I could ask for.
All right, that's I agree, and I'm glad to have you a part of it. It was fun. I had a good time doing it. And what I think we'll do is we'll do this again for the Super Bowl. And I am curious to see what everyone's thoughts are. So people who are watching, why don't you leave a comment down below and let us know if you like the format, if you have any questions for the next video. I'm actually thinking the next video we'll do it just like this on the Super Bowl, and we'll get into the Super Bowl game, of course, give you the pick for the Super Bowl, the over-under, same thing we did in this video. And I think what will be cool is we'll do some predictions for next season, because me and that dude Beef 310 on Twitter, we had a bunch of predictions last season, and I'll tell you, a lot of predictions. There's some things.
All of mine came true. It's not my fault that you don't remember them. That's all I can tell you.
He has said so many that I forget a lot of them, but he has made some claims before to have said some things. I will say one thing he had last season. I can give him total credit. He said DeMarco Murray, as a huge Cowboys fan that he is, DeMarco Murray would stink for the Eagles. He said that DeMarco Murray will. We had a bet, which I thought was a lock. I thought there was no way I could lose this bet. Thank God I didn't. We pushed. We had a bet that DeMarco Murray would. He bet that DeMarco Murray would not reach 1,000 yards if he played all 16 games for the Eagles. So if he rushes over 1,000 yards and plays all 16 games, I win. If he rushes under 1,000 yards and plays all 16, he wins. Or if he misses any games, we had it go as a push. Thank God I put that stipulation in, because he missed a game, and it certainly didn't rush for near 1,000.
It was I think it was 703 yards. Oh, that should have been money in my pocket. And remember, you weren't the only person I had that bet with. I think I had it with 2 or 3 other people as well.
I think it might have even been more. I think it was like 4 of us that.
Yeah, I know I know I had a bunch of. There was a bunch of money, that should have been moving around. Some went in my direction, some didn't, but that would have been a big one. If he didn't miss one game, that would have been a very nice payday. It would have been great.
So that was impressive. I got to give you credit for that. And you also, a couple years ago when Chip Kelly came in, said Chip Kelly would be out in 3 years, correct?
I did, unfortunately, but what I said was he would be back in college in 3 years. So I kind of got it right that he's out in Philly, but he's still in the NFL. How does San Francisco pick this guy up? This makes no sense to me. He just demolished the team. Now, granted, he came to a team that was 4-12, turned them into a 10-6 team, but then he gets rid of a huge key player. They go 10-6 again, and then he just wipes out the Philadelphia Eagles, takes out everybody with talent. I'm talking all pros, Pro Bowlers, people that they should have never left. Deshaun Jackson had a career year. There's never been a time where a wide receiver had a career year and then was cut from the team for no reason.
Yep.
And Kelly, the whole report about gang connections and all this and that. Come on, man. This is the NFL.
Come on, man. We told our own version.
This is a part of the NFL. This is the NFL, man. If you ain't a part of a gang, I don't know. You ain't doing something right, apparently. It's 2016. Everybody in the NFL, they have a hang-up. I don't care who you are. Everybody has a hang-up. Except Peyton Manning, because he's the man.
So that was another thing you predicted. And I'll tell you what, guys, you are definitely going to want to check out next week, because I want him to tell this big prediction he's given as a huge Cowboys fan. He's told me what it is. We'll share it with you next week. Huge prediction with the Cowboys quarterback situation next year that you're not going to want to miss.
Stay tuned.
So stay tuned, everybody. All right, we are going to sign off this live hangout. If you guys liked it, let us know. We could even do hangouts on pretty much anything. We could do it on any topic. It doesn't have to just stop at football. But if you guys enjoyed it, definitely
really
let us
do
know.
something that we actually know stuff about, because football, we're clearly clueless.
Yeah, I mean, just look at my record on this season. That's all you need to do. Although I
Wow.
hadn't had a losing record up until this year.
I knew you were going to plug that in. I knew it.
Like the Four Horsemen, 4 years running, making all these picks against the spread, and I hadn't had a losing record. And then
Four times. That's it, man.
All right, so that's it, and that's all. Thanks for watching. Remember, I am Hang with Sean on all the social media, and of course, you're here on my YouTube page, so you know that's Hang with Sean on YouTube. That is ThatDudeBeef 310 on Twitter, and he does have a YouTube, but he's not quite sure what the hell the URL is.
Yeah, I don't have a URL, but just, we'll put it in the link in the description or something like that, and we'll take care of you if you guys are interested in checking it out.
That's right. You tell him. All right, so signing off. Till next week or 2 weeks, because the Super Bowl. See you, everybody.